What's up, chess player? How to defeat a 2200 rated player as black? Let's discover it together. I'm gonna play the Philidor defense here as you like, the Learn How I Think series, where you can see all of my decision-making process throughout a normal game here. So I, of course, know the theory here. Bishop takes f7 is a possibility for white sacrificing the bishop, but objectively it's completely fine for black. Now, the black's idea is to play c6 with a double idea. There is knight takes e4 sacrifice and there is a b5 opportunity. And normally white plays here a4 trying to stop b5. In this case, white doesn't want to do that, just plays bishop to b3. That gives me a chance to just play b5. I'm not that afraid because of d5, because I have this move b4 there. Yeah, now I can play bishop b7 and be well prepared for the d5 square. And a5, now b4 is once again a threat, and I guess it's pretty dangerous because the e4 pawn is gonna be hanging, but of course there are some drawbacks. The b4 pawn will be hanging. I still am very tempted to do that, to be honest. So let me do that, because normally they put the rook on e1, and at least the rook is putting a lot of pressure on the file. But now it's not, and he's even not exchanging that. That's very weird. That allows me just to take the pawn with the tempo, and he can't really take on b4. If you take first, of course, I would have taken back, then queen takes b4 would have been a possibility. Now it's not. So I'm just winning a pawn. Let's see how I can use it. I can exchange on d4 and then play c5. That would protect my knight and make sure that my pawn structure is solid. Bishop a6 is not winning the exchange, if you're wondering, because of bishop c4. I can still do that, but then c6 pawn is weak, so I don't really want to do that. c5 after the exchange really does seem like a natural thing to do. Also, this knight might go to f5, which, yeah, might be not such a great thing. Then the queen, yeah, maybe I could start with bishop to f6 or even g6, because then after c5 this knight can't really go to f5, and that's gonna be a big problem for white. Although g6 does feel a little bit slow, so yeah, I don't know, maybe I was too in a hurry with the move e takes d. Hard to say, hard to say. I don't really want to give up a pair of bishops because it's really something I'm proud of. Although now I'm noticing that my knight on e4 is actually protecting the d6 pawn. So c5, knight f5, bishop f6. I'm kind of putting some pressure there, and f3 you never want to play, and otherwise everything's protected. So I'm gonna go with it because that's the most active thing here, and I still want to play g6 and just push this knight somewhere. Although knight h6 check, it's not that convenient for me. Yeah, he's activating his pieces. I don't know, queen c7 seems a good way to continue. Because if I play knight e5, he probably has knight takes e5, knight takes and bishop takes, thanks to the spinel on the d file. So let me bring my queen into the game, protecting the pawn and getting away out of pins, and maybe potentially preparing some c4 ideas. Still need the rook though. Bishop d5. Okay. I guess I'm gonna just take it, because afterwards you have some difficulties with your pieces here. I mean, the rook on d5 and the knight on a4 are both not protected. Queen c6 seems like a good way to explore that. Knight e7 is not a fork because of bishop there. How can you defend that? At least if I exchange first, then there would be a queen c4 move protecting everything, but now it's not. You can still play queen to c4, protecting the rook and attacking the knight on e4, but for some reason my opponent is not doing that. Now I can just take it. I don't see anything he might do here. Yeah, bishop h6 trying to create some threats finally for my king, but I don't think that's... Well, maybe he wants to take here and then queen g4, or just queen g4 in the first place. Yeah, that might be dangerous actually. Also, the knight is hanging now. So how do I deal with that? Rook e8? I mean, that does feel dangerous. It doesn't matter how many extra pieces you have, if you are not careful enough, you just might got checkmated. So I have knight takes f2, interesting idea, attacking the queen, and if he takes, queen takes c2. I'm winning 2 pawns for the knight, it's not bad, but what is even more important, I have queen e4 move afterwards, and I really want to exchange the queens, of course. But giving up such a central knight is, of course, quite important decision. My opponent resigns for some reason. That's interesting. I mean, obviously the position is much better, but you can still try to create some threats. Maybe he spotted that I can just play g6. That is the simpler thing to do, and then black is completely winning. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and in this one I'm showing you more of the games I have played so you can learn how you can apply those very, very important principles in your own games.